Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. Right here with Spears.
How y'all feel out there?
Steinberg. What time is it? Game time.
Happy New Year. I was about to sing happy birthday. Happy New Year, y'all. And the 5th day?
And 5, yes.
And
sir.
5.
Yeah.
Because it's 5 days after the new year that you will be listening to this. What's your New Year's resolution?
Lose this weight.
Listen, folks, I know coming from the both of us, we're saying the same thing that's everybody's number one answer on the Family Feud board. Number one answer on the board, New Year's resolution is lose this weight, ding. But this has to be it for me because I'm paraphrasing the Muhammad Ali quote, something about the scariest thing or the worst thing you could do is be in the same place you were last year. And I feel like I've been in the same place for the last 10 years. And I feel like weight loss is the final Chu Chow Young test for me to fight the final boss in the martial arts movie. And if I could get past Sensei Demon, then we're on to bigger, better things. So this is going to be the year when I get my LL Cool J Love You Better 6-pack V in the front pointing towards the dick stomach.
See, now that's a big goal. I just want to lose the weight.
Yeah, I want to listen, that's one of my biggest fantasies is to lose the weight and get fucking shredded.
See, this is where I think, and I'm not going to tell you anything because you know how your head works, but a lot of people say something like, get shredded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lose the weight and get shredded. So if you're losing the weight and you're starting to lose it and it's coming off slow and you're not getting shredded, then a lot of people give up because I think that you're overreaching. I think you should have moments in there that you can at least go, hey man, I lost 10 pounds. I still don't look like I want to look, but I lost 10. So now let's go for 15, 20. Now I want to get shredded.
The head game thing ain't going to do it for me because I'm an extremist. When I do anything, I go hard in the paint. So the problem with me in terms of the scales of balance is I've been going hard in the paint on a party that ain't ended in the last 15 years. So, but once my mind is made up, and that's the toughest thing is making it up, I think I'll be good to go.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna drop some weight. I don't know what kind of shape I'm gonna be in. I'd like not to be in a pear shape. I'd like to be in something a little.
Is it a pear?
A pear, yeah. I would like to be in a more of a, I don't know, some kind of
Here's an 80s,
symmetry.
Here's an 80s reference. A lot of you young kiddies won't know this, but in other words, you tired of being shaped like an Orangina bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to put some effort in. And you know what? I don't want, and I'm taking this on, and this might not work the way that I want it to. I don't want to do it for just me, which it's for me and for my health is the main reason I want to do it. But also for Tara, because this is what I told her this. This is why it's important to me, and I hope, and this makes her want to help me too. I think I'm older, so she got me old. Through COVID, this is the worst amount of the most hair that I've ever lost. She's really getting the bottom end of this run that I'm having on this planet.
Right.
The least I could do is give her something that doesn't look broken.
But let me tell you, women are funny that way, man. I mean, I'm not saying a woman doesn't want a man to be as pristine as possible, but women aren't. I don't think women are as vain as men in that way. When a woman loves you, she will take you looking like Friar Tuck, nigga. Like she will accept you, love you, balding, belly and all. I've seen some women with some disheveled pieces of shit, nigga. And I'm like, bitch, how are you? But he has her heart, man. We tend to be a little bit more vain in that we want you to.
We look at the physical. Yeah. We look at the physical first. But also, I would also like not to sound like I just. I would like to fuck her and not sound like I ran a marathon and like I didn't make it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I just, listen, I hold no compunction whatsoever about any regrets in terms of anything sexual, as long as I win the prize at the end. But from a personal standpoint, it would be nice to look in the mirror and just go, damn, and look at you instead of look at you.
Yeah, no, I swear to you, the other night, I was in the shower and I was like, okay, I'm going to get done. I'm going to get cleaned. I'm take the shower, clean up, smell good. We're going to have some dinner. We're going to, go do a few things, get back. We're fucking. And then I got out of the shower and I started toweling off and I looked at myself and I was like, yeah, you're going to get back and you're going to put it in there, but you ain't fucking.
Right.
So yeah, I want, it's, I say for her, but really it is for me. It's because she, like you just said, she knows who I am.
Yeah.
But I'd like to put a little S on my chest and go for it.
I like that. Put a little S on your chest. If you can't do it by being in shape, you could always.
This is my war face and my war paint.
You could always lay back on your back and beat off until you shoot an S on your chest. Brand yourself. All right. Patton Oswalt and Dave, you were telling me.
Patton Oswalt. I forgot what city it was in, but he's there. Dave is doing this big theater show, and Patton Oswalt's there, and they've known each other since young youth, since they were youths. And said, "Hey, come on, do a guest set." And so they've been friends. I mean, it's everybody when you've done this a long time.
We're all in the same gang,
but you're friends with certain people. You've had experiences, and that doesn't mean you're day-to-day friends. Some of my best friends, we don't talk every day,
right?
But they're your friends, and Patton still sees Dave as his friend, and obviously Dave sees Patton as his friend, and called him up and said, "Do a guest set," and there was no hesitation on Patton's part. That's his friend, and he went and did the guest set, and he was very happy and posted about it because they're friends, and Dave is in this next level, and it's nice to get that call from your friend who's killing it and like no one else is killing it. And then the LGBTQ plus community came after one of their own, which is Patton. Patton, when I said one of their own, an ally for them that has been vocal and came after him because he had the audacity
to perform with the enemy
and still call him his friend. And even though that Dave has I don't want to say Dave, there is some confusion in what Dave has said because of the turf thing, but let's just be, I don't think there's anyone that would think that Dave has said in that special that he wants to see any transgender people hurt, injured, killed. I think there might be some I think maybe Dave might have been a little misinformed on how he approached the term turf, or not. Regardless, I still Dave is somebody I still look up to and I admire. And even if I didn't agree with him, and I'm not saying I do or I do or don't, that doesn't remove him from me looking up to him. And even if I did, and even if he was, I want to be careful how I said it because I don't want to put any words in Dave's mouth. Even if his special would have been had some tone that would have been against the community. People do change, people do develop. And even if that didn't happen, everything else that I've shared with someone, everything else that person is, I could still be friendly with them and still disagree with them. And there's no reason you can't. I don't understand this line in the sand.
Well, listen, I'm not going to get into, I wouldn't use the word bashing, but in an effort to defend, Patton Oswalt's position or Dave's position, I'm not going to go down that road in terms of how I think this community is a little bit of a bully because we've been down that road. I'm just more or less shocked because to go after Patton Oswalt, knowing, come on, man, the dude looks like a lesbian, so I don't understand why they would go after him when he's definitely looking like he looks like a half hobbit, half lesbian. He's like a lesbian hobbit. Leave him alone, man. Patton, he's allowed to like who he likes, man.
Well, it's just, but I said this before. everybody who goes to the far right, the far left, whatever, they end up cannibalizing themselves because they're taking out their own people all the time. Because no one is. I think I don't want to. I'm not going to make it political. I just thought it was interesting that that Patton couldn't do a comedy set with an old friend without it becoming much, much more.
Yeah. Well, God bless that community. They're trying to figure shit out, as we all are. So maybe they'll stumble along the way, as most of us do when we're trying to figure shit out. And hopefully, if they can lift themselves out of each other's ass cheeks, everything will work out.
That couldn't have been put together any more poorly. It really could. You really. You might have stuck the landing, but it wasn't the right way.
I got you. I don't know that helped either. All right. Want to get into some fun stuff?
Yeah.
As we told you, we were supposed to do this podcast with Neri, our Florida soldier, but he's back on a cruise ship, working cruise ships. Good luck with that.
Yeah, cruise ships and COVID.
Yeah, the two CCs. So he couldn't make it, and we were disappointed because, he's the superhero guy. And I definitely talked to him a little bit after seeing the movie. And he definitely shocked me with the fact that he didn't feel anyway like I thought he would feel. And neither almost did you, for that matter. And of course, I'm talking about Spider-Man. Dude, I called Andy immediately and was like, yo, this movie is fire. And I fucking loved it. A lot of people, I think they're getting carried away because too many people are like, yo, it's better than Endgame. Slow down. No, it's not. But it's damn good.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was the way you put it. And then you did say that about Endgame, and everybody's saying it's better than Endgame. I wasn't with that either. But before we stop talking about Neri, Neri has a spider? Does he have a Spider-Man tattoo?
And I learned. I don't know why I assume he's just crazy about all things superhero. But he said to me that he's never been a big fan of Spider-Man. He was like, dude, I really never been a big fan of Spider-Man. And I was like, what? Because I thought he was. I assumed he was.
Well, Spider-Man wasn't one of the comics I collected when I collect comic books.
Right.
I was an Iron Man guy. I was a Silver Surfer guy. I like Fantastic Four, but there's other reasons too. But I was an X-Men fan because of the art by. There was an artist at the time at Marvel that was James Byrne. It was unbelievable. So
right.
But that's a whole nother thing. But Spider-Man was cool, but wasn't my.
Dude, I just again, you can't help but because of the era that we came up in. You have references beforehand. So again, for me and my age and my generation, it goes runs a little deeper from a nostalgia standpoint. But again, I watching this, and I think I may have said this before, it makes you go because again, we came from the 8-track cassette tape, watching everything evolve time period. So again, to new kids now, they don't have a reference point. This is it. But we have reference points. And I just thought, Jesus, man, we had Lou Ferrigno, the TV show, The Hulk.
Yeah.
We had Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. We had Christopher Reeves, Superman. And I think the guy's name was Nicholas something. But we had the 60s. Well, not it came on in the 80s, but the Spider-Man show, the TV show. With Nicholas something, the guy that played Spider-Man. I remember we talked about this.
Yeah.
The webbing was rope.
Yeah.
And Kim Fields' mother, Chip Fields, was in it.
See, I didn't really pay attention to that one. I really didn't.
Oh, I loved it
because
a kid.
I think that went over me. Because
really?
I grew up in more like the 70s.
I might be fucking up the dates, but
I think that went right over the top of me, though.
But it was shot in the 70s, came out in the 80s. Ran through I'm fucking up the timeline, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I remember it. I just didn't. That one didn't grab me. And I think, by the way, I said James Byrne and Steve Byrne. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this and I'm just going, wow, just what a fucking time to be alive with this kind of technology.
Yeah.
I mean, what they do with this technology. Dude, the fight between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange was amazing, dude. Just in terms of what they could do for what Doctor Strange's powers were, combined with what Spider-Man's abilities were, and to see the two of them fight. And the one thing I love about I got to give Marvel so much credit is they didn't just go, let's rely on the classic, because we know the good guy gonna fight the bad guy. But they bring to life that fantasy in everybody's head. Who would win between Strange and Spider-Man? Who would win between Iron Man and Captain America? And in all the movies, at some point, before these guys become friends and a team, they're foes a little bit, even though they're good guys, as they try to figure each other out. And you see them fight for a second. It's like they give you what you want in terms of that fantasy. And I thought that visually and effects-wise, that fight was amazing.
Well, not only that fight, but even Doc Ock.
Yeah.
They also made it, he looks so much better
Than with the Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, well, than the original.
Right.
Like, the arms are looking better.
Right.
Everything looks. The technology has grown so far. It's unbelievable how the movie looks, and I don't know how much better it can get.
That's the scary part. Like, it's how much better can it really get? But it visually, it looked great. That opening, that scene where Doc Ock introduces himself and comes in for the first time, and then seconds later, the Goblin's grenade comes in, and then he comes in. I mean, the theater wasn't as packed as it was when we saw Endgame, but you still had some of the same reactions.
Yeah. Yeah. You had the cheering, the applause.
Yeah.
But it's fun, you know, and it's also fighting COVID right now too. So it was really great to go see it. I'm glad. I was happy to go to a theater again. I was happy to have a popcorn and a Coke and watch.
Yeah, that was nice. And like we said, I was happy that you couldn't get in without a vaccination card. So,
but let's get to the movie though. Let's get it from the very beginning.
Right.
You want to open it up?
Nah, did you have something?
Well, it's just the beginning part. That's the part that takes me out of it at the very beginning, is that Doctor Strange doesn't feel like Doctor Strange at the beginning of the movie. No, he's first of all, he was an intellect. He's a surgeon. And then he comes off as kind of like trying to be a cool dude at the beginning of this. And like, that isn't his MO. That's not who he is. Right. And that's what bothered me at the beginning of the movie. That was hard for me just to go like, this doesn't happen unless Doctor Strange is trying to be. Is Doctor Strange trying to be cool now?
Well, listen. He shouldn't be Tony Stark cool, because Tony was cool. But I thought they kind of established he was a little cool in Doctor Strange. Remember very early on with the music and his confidence and his arrogance and.
But he's also very scientific, and the idea that we're going to do a spell that no one else really wants him to do because it can alter the universe, and then he goes to do it, and then Peter Parker's change. This is a spoiler if anybody hasn't seen this. This is going to allow everything to be there. If he's going to do a spell and it's going to break the universe, he's not going to do it. He's just going to stop doing it. He's going to go, nah, this, you know what? I was wrong. We're not going to do this. And I understand he wants to give Peter Parker back his life.
Right.
And that part makes sense. It was just the way that they got there. I think it could have been done. That part I wish would have been done differently. I wish it would have came in and it would have been like, you know, you could have gotten and that's hard because you don't get an emotional response from Doctor Strange. You know, he's not supposed to work on emotion. And that's why this is off. But that was the only thing. That was the thing that really that got me. But the rest of the movie, after I get past that part, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that, what you saw. You know, to me, he just played it like I thought he would play it.
Yeah, that was my only issue. But after that, like I said, I'm good with the movie. After that, I'm good with it. And what they did by opening up to this multiverse, now, you know, as you killed Tony Stark with Robert Downey Jr., he's always able to come back now. There's no.
You think he can though?
He can be alive in any other universe. Black Widow can be alive in any other universe.
Right.
They don't have to. So now we don't know what they're going to do next. We have no idea because they can open up the door anywhere they want to open it up.
So are you pro multiverse or non?
No, I like the multiverse. It really opens it up for a lot more. And like I said, when I was a kid, one of the comics I did collect was What If, and I know that they made the cartoon version and put it on Disney Plus, but I think they could do a cool series, a What If series, and do it in the Marvel kind of way that they've been doing it. Because once you have the multiverse, it's not even a What If; it's another universe. So it would be very interesting to have it done and to see some other things that they could do.
It feels like with the multiverse, they've basically took the NBA approach to these movies now. Let's make super teams. And for this, I don't see it as a bad thing. Because again, if you're a superhero fanatic and, you know, this is how you get your orgasm, this is a hell of a bust right here. This is a way to bust a hell of a nut because this is intense. But I have to ask you now, because I'm going to venture off into this. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland. Who's your favorite?
Man, you know, as I've watched these,
Right.
I would think so. This one was my favorite. That one was my favorite. This one, you know, because of the movie, how it was put together, and how well they did in each of their movies. But when I watched all three of them,
Right.
and I think you're going to disagree with me on this, I thought Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man.
I got to tell you, man, couple things. Number one, I never liked Tobey Maguire like that. I thought he was too, and I understand Spider-Man was supposed to be a geeky kid, but this nigga Tobey Maguire to me looked creepily geeky. Like he did geek shit that should have been arrested for. Like he just looked odd to me.
In this one?
No, period.
In all of them.
In all of them.
Well, I like how they address it because they ask him if he's going to keep. Does he have a suit?
That was a
over-
funny ass line.
Yeah. Or and that line's funny, and that addresses the fact that he's older and he looks a little different. But when they're all there, the tagline for Spider-Man is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Right.
Out of those three, who is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
But I would say all of them.
No.
Tobey?
No, Garfield especially has that darker edge to it.
Well, they said that, you know, a lot of people felt like he was the perfect, and this is before Tom Holland. He was the perfect Spider-Man, but Tobey Maguire was the better Peter Parker. And they were saying because Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker, he was too cool for school. Like he was almost too cool, too good looking, he wasn't geeky enough. But as Spider-Man in the uniform, he had that delivery, whereas Tobey was more better suited for Peter Parker. Me personally, and this is why I separate Tom from the rest. To me, Tom is the best. And especially from an acting standpoint. Yo, when Tom Holland got emotional, and this is one of the times I wept, when Aunt May died.
Yeah.
And then in Endgame, when Tony died, when he cries, he pulled me in. Him emotionally pulls me in. I think it was Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, the third one, when his friend, James Franco dies, and he has the big crying scene. I just thought when I was watching that, this is so cheesy. Tobey Maguire to me came off cheesy when he cries. Like, nigga, stop. But Tom Holland, I feel your pain, brother.
Yeah, but you had a relationship with Tony Stark. You had a relationship with Aunt May. Did you have a relationship with James Franco?
No, but...
So no matter what, it was going to be cheesy.
Nah, because look, and this is what falls on acting chops. Great acting is great acting. And if you have the ability based on your skill level, you can pull a motherfucker in.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you if you want to go on better actor. No, I think Tom Holland did a great job, especially in those that you just brought up. But when we're watching this and you're listening to someone who's like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, a kid who got bit and now is a superhero. And the character is Peter Parker. Spider-Man is his own character, but the character is Peter Parker. I think that Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker. He really captures, like when he said it, a few of the things he said, and he also had to justify why he gets webs and the way he justified it.
I love that. Yeah, that was great.
I just thought that's Spider-Man. That's a kid who became a superhero.
You know, it's funny talking about those moments, like again in the theater, and I knew it was going to happen. I was hoping it was going to happen, but just like in Endgame, you know, Cap on your left, and then the portals open up, and everybody comes back, and the theater loses its collective shit. When Ned opened up the portal, and Andrew Garfield came through and took the mask off, but then when Toby came through, the house went down. So it feels like the general consensus is Toby is everybody's favorite. But then I think that's because he was there first.
He was there first, and that is part of it. But I also think he embodies Peter Parker. And you said it best when you said the who's the better Peter Parker. But that is, the character is Peter Parker. Spider-Man is his own character. Peter Parker is the guy you got to play.
You don't think the two have to be like Bruce Wayne and Batman? Some guys go, he's a better Bruce Wayne and a better Batman.
It's great when you get both.
Right.
100%. But I thought Tobey Maguire did get it because he stayed as kid-like even as Spider-Man. But Tom Holland, the series, here's the other thing too that you have to take into account, whether you want to admit this or not. The writing's better now. The technology's better now. Everything about the series is better now. Like if I watch that storyline, the Tobey Maguire storylines, they're not as good as what we have right now.
No.
So it allows you to, the storyline itself allows you to be a better actor. It helps you slip into the character better. I just think that there's this shot when there's the three Spider-Men where Tobey Maguire talks and you've seen this little, like, he looks like there's a little gleam in his eye where he's like the Spider-Man, like that. I don't know what it is.
He was happy to be working again.
Listen, I think he's secure. I think he's done all right. But you said something though that does, make it a different kind of movie. Aunt May, man, that I was not expecting that.
Dude, I wasn't either, dude. And Neri was like, whatever. He said that didn't touch him at all. But I thought that scene, that wasn't expecting that. And like I said, Tom Holland did such a good job showing his pain and hurt at that moment. He sucked me in with that, man. Well,
and that's the other thing. That's what I like about Marvel now. They killed off a main character. That's a commitment. But again, we have a multiverse, so she exists somewhere.
I don't know if you saw it, but I saw on the internet where they said, what's her real name?
Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei. She wanted Aunt May to have a girlfriend. Marvel said, Hey, Drew, the fucking no. And I'm, again, I don't want to get deep off into that, but why? Just because y'all want to, just why?
Because I wouldn't mind seeing Marissa Tomei with a girlfriend.
Okay, if they showed some shit like that and it got hot and heavy, then maybe. But come on, man, with the whole Uncle Ben and that's a major plot line.
Yeah.
So just for the record, you said Toby's your favorite?
Yeah.
Second.
Tom Holland.
And then Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, and I don't. It's nothing against Andrew Garfield. I still think he did a great job for what he was doing. Those are just the order in which that I go.
Yeah, I'm Holland, Garfield, Maguire. Did you like the two Garfield ones?
Yeah, they were good. It's just that I never imagined Peter Parker as angry. Spider-Man can't be angry.
But you thought he came off angry?
Yeah, there was like angry moments with him. Like Spider-Man has to be hopeful and see promise all the time. That's how the character works.
Right. And here's where and I don't mean to beat this dead horse. But this is why I'm such a stickler for context and sequence when I talk about listening to the pod in a certain order. Because if you didn't watch these movies in a certain order, that beautiful moment you would not have understood where Zendaya, Holland's MJ, is falling and he goes to get her. And it's reminiscent of the moment between Andrew Garfield and Gwen Stacy. And of course, Gwen Stacy died. He could not save her. So when Tom Holland goes to try to save MJ and Goblin comes and swoops him up out of the picture, then it's Andrew Garfield who dives down and he saves her. And then that moment where he has her in her arms.
He's redeemed.
He's redeemed. And she goes, "Are you all right?" And he's fucking crying. Wow.
But you didn't
That's
have to
such a great
see it in
movie.
order
Yeah,
to
you
get that.
do.
No, you don't.
Then how would you have gotten that moment? How would that moment have hit you where you knew that was redemption? How would you have known that?
Because you go back and you watch them, because there's a lot of people that just and you would go, "Oh man, that scene was great."
Stop.
But the scene was great on its own.
Stop. Do you understand how important that is when you understand it?
Yeah, it makes it more when you understand
when you
it.
go back and you go, "Oh, now I get it after I've already seen it." It doesn't have the same gravity.
No, you're probably right. It doesn't. But you know what? If you don't have time to watch all of the other fucking movies, you're going to wait 6 months to go see this one movie?
Do it right.
No.
Do it right.
Nah, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't.
Do it right. Otherwise, don't fuck with it. You're robbing yourself.
Do you know how many people are not going to have watched the other?
Do you know how many people have watched it the right way?
Yes. Do you know how many people don't care?
Well, then y'all are the fans that we hate. The fans hate motherfuckers like y'all. That is again,
It
movie,
means
artistry, fucking powerful moment. That gives it gravitas.
No doubt about it. But if you never saw it, that scene still doesn't sound. It still great.
What are you taking from it if you don't know the reference point?
They bring it up. They give you little nuggets of it throughout the movie. So that you understood it. Yeah, they do.
Listen, what nuggets would you have gotten to know that moment if you never saw that moment?
Because they even say that the other
you think that's enough for people to put the two and two together?
You know, I don't think it. I listen. Is it better if you saw it that way? Yes.
Oh God.
Is it going to end the movie for you? That it's not going to be a great movie anymore?
No, but see, that's where you and I differ because I care about those details that much. Because to me, when you add all those details up the right way, it's potent. It's more potent. And the more powerful, the greater you are. I just believe in greatness, meaning no shortcuts.
Well, there you go.
All right.
What else? Before we, the other character that changed so much because of the technology,
right?
Even though that it was the same, but it was just enough to make it. Sandman was completely different.
Yeah. I mean, everything got an upgrade. Yeah, I love Jamie Foxx's upgrade.
Yeah, but I was gonna say that Sandman character. When I first saw that,
right.
I thought that was ridiculous.
You did?
He just pops up. And
I never heard of the character at all until I saw the movie.
With the original one, how his head popped up reminded me of the Wizard from the Wizard of Oz when it's being the scary thing and it's just the head and it's just moving.
Right.
And this one, it had powers and the way that it moved was differently in this one. I really, again, go back to it. But what do you think about the scene where they said when Spider-Man went to take, I forgot who says it, but Spider-Man takes, I thought it was just going to be a black guy. I thought it was going to be a black guy.
Well, I love that because
it opened up the door.
It opens up the door for Miles Morales if they ever decide to go there.
Yeah.
That moment, dude, which to me was a man food, dick hard moment. And this again, that's what blew me away about what Neri said. I'm like, yo, that moment where all three Spider-Mans run off the plank and launch into action, and you see all three of them webbing, and then they cut to the shot where they all web past the moon, and then they all land into their own superhero pose. That wasn't a big whoa to you. And Neri was like, nah. That was fucking badass.
Yeah, but it is also it's badass at one point and a little cheesy on the other. Because you saw it. You saw it coming. You saw them doing their little thing and you knew that was going to happen. They had to have the big moment to sell it to you. to show you the look at
Y'all motherfuckers are shitting all over this children's party.
No, I'm not saying I disliked it. I was just like, it didn't have the same. It didn't do to me what it did to you.
See, dude, I think that, look, as dudes, we're all, superhero. It's man food. It's superhero. It feeds the inner child in you, the macho shit in you. But again, I'm not a diehard comic book dude. But for what it is, I'm like, yeah, I'm in it. That to me was kick ass, man.
What? Nothing you didn't like about the movie? Ned opening up that also opens up another storyline with Ned being able to open up the.
Well, he only did that because he had the ring.
But he had the ability to open up. Most people could have the ring and not know how to open it up.
Well, they even jokingly made a reference to that about, it took Doctor Strange how long to be able to do that, and this motherfucker does it instantaneously.
By accident. So, but does this open up for Ned to be part of
I don't even think so. I think that's just some shit
they
threw in there.
I think Ned is there's going to be something for Ned.
Right. The other moment that really kind of teared me up a little bit too was when Tom had to say goodbye to Ned and MJ.
Yeah.
Because, the spell was going to make sure they didn't know him after that.
Right.
And that moment between MJ and Tom, the tearful, goodbye, that got me too, man. Them two acted their young asses off, man.
Yeah, but now that scene, the idea of that scene has already happened before with Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire?
Toby.
You mixed Spider-Man and Jerry Maguire.
Yeah. Toby, what's his name?
Tobey Maguire.
Toby, what's his...
Now you got me, Tobey Maguire. Toby. Now you got me fucked up. Is it Tobey Maguire? No.
What's his name?
What the fuck? You just cast a Doctor Strange spell on me. The cast of Spider-Man. It is Tobey Maguire, isn't it?
I think so.
You fuck. Tobey Maguire. I don't know how to respond to that. Oh my God, I cannot fucking believe what you just did. Dude, your shit is contagious, nigga. The cast of the first Spider-Man movie.
Tobey Maguire. Yeah,
it is. Oh, why the fuck did I think? Okay.
See, maybe.
Shit.
Anyway, so back to Tobey Maguire here. And now I'm going to say, in his Spider-Man, when he wants to tell, what's the girl's name? In
MJ.
And that he is Spider-Man. He knows that he can't tell them. And they refer because they won't be safe if they know who he is. So he's trying to hide it from MJ and his aunt at the time.
Right.
So we've been down this road before.
Yeah, but the difference is they still knew him
as a person.
Yeah,
they don't know him at all now.
That seems odd to me because it's like this nigga's got to start from scratch and try to make Ned believe he's his best friend and she's his girlfriend.
But if Ned has powers, now is Doctor Strange going to find Ned?
Stay tuned, folks, on the next Pass the Blunt episode. Dude, I love that moment at the end. You know how they always give you, once the credits roll, the preview into what's next.
Yeah.
The moment they show Tom Hardy at the bar, I said, and you know it was coming. It's got to happen. You go, oh, shit. Venom versus Spider-Man. And now that I've seen, what was it, Carnage, Venom and Carnage?
Yeah.
And of course, we saw the first Venom movie. I don't know if there'll be another one in between that and Spider-Man and Venom, but even if there is or isn't, this is the showdown. And what was his name? The dude from that 70s show, Topher Grace, when he played Venom in the Tobey Maguire movie. Ugh. Tom Holland's version, Tom Hardy's version. Wow.
Yeah.
Because you know what it was, the difference for me? And Topher Grace's version, he didn't have any personality. It was Topher. Remember when the Venom would expose the interface and it was Topher? He spoke as Topher. This thing, Eddie, that they do with Tom Hardy, where he's battling the symbiote suit.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. Why not, Eddie? That gives it a whole nother dimension.
Yeah. Listen, I love the new Venom series. This is great. But what I didn't know, and I don't know that you know this, my son True saw it, and he goes, "Do you know there's a second scene that I didn't stay for? I saw the first one, I left.
After that?
There's a second scene."
Yeah, I left too. You know what? And I knew I fucked up because after that scene, I got up to leave, and a lot of people were still sitting there. And I'm like, are they going to do another one? Nah. These motherfuckers is just, I don't know. But there was another one?
Yeah, my son said that.
What is it?
I don't know. I have to look it up on YouTube. I haven't even done it yet.
Right.
Because I didn't want to be able to answer it. I didn't want to answer you if you asked me what it was. I wanted you to have to go see it. But he told me, and I was like, he goes, "You stayed for the second one?" And I was like, "No." My son could be fucking with me for all I know, but
no, I don't think he is, because a lot of people in the theater were staying.
I was trying to get out of there before COVID found me inside the theater. I was all paranoid because I thought it was a bigger theater that I was going to. It was a small room, and it was pretty full. But I'm telling you, man, I love the I really do love the multiverse. I think anything's possible. They can do anything. Maybe they can fix the Fantastic Four through this.
Well, you know, I think before, Marvel didn't own the rights to Fantastic Four, just like at first they didn't with Spider-Man. Hence, a lot of people were saying that's why those movies came out fucked up. I personally didn't hate the first Fantastic Four. But now that Marvel owns the rights, people are crossing their fingers feeling like they're going to get this one right.
Well, I hope so, because they fucked up Silver Surfer because of it.
You didn't like the Silver Surfer?
No, the Silver Surfer could be huge if they did it right.
I would love it if they do it again. Keep Lawrence Fishburne's voice again. I thought that was cool. I thought he was cool. Remember that?
Yeah. I would love it. I would love a whole reboot. Completely. I would like to see it redone. But like I said, with the multiverse, they can fix things, they can change things, they can add things, they can do things that it never did in the comic books, as long as they stay true to the idea.
Right.
So I'm kind of, I'm.
So and wrapping up, let me ask you this, because one thing when Neri and I were talking about it, he said something that I agree with completely. He was like, of all the 3 Spider-Man movies, by far, this one was the best because the first one was called Homecoming, which I liked, but I wasn't crazy about it. The second one, what was that one called? Something else home. They all got home in it. I hated that one.
That's the one where they went to DC?
When they went on vacation. Yeah. In Europe. No.
In Europe. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one either but they needed that one to get to where they are now, because that's where who's the anti-hero that's playing the hero that
in that one?
No, in the second one that you're talking about.
Mysterio.
Yeah, Mysterio.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, you needed Mysterio to make this work.
Yeah, but I just that movie to me lacked punch. And I could have cared less about them being on vacation, which to me, again, he didn't even bring his spider suit. And he was fucking running around in that weird, whatever noir suit, that crazy other suit, and then finally he creates the black and red suit towards the very end in the climactic fight scene. Which, again, I'm old fashioned. I like the red and blue Spidey suit. So that movie didn't really do it for me like that.
Well, and Mysterio, they've done such a good job of making the characters. More like you almost could see them walking down the street. Mysterio didn't do that for me.
Right.
Mysterio was like an old, like a 1950s comic book character.
Right.
Come to life in today. And that's what ruined it for me.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being phenomenal, 1 being, what would you give Homecoming, the first one.
Well, I liked it because it was the Tom Holland one. I liked that they made Aunt May.
Well, they're all Tom Holland ones.
Yeah, but and they made that's what I'm saying. I like him. They made Aunt May youthful and kind of more into today.
Right.
Yeah, you got to give that one a high score. That's probably out of all the Spider-Mans that, even though that I say Tobey Maguire is my favorite one, that was one of the better ones, period, to me. So that's an 8.
8. What do you give the second one? On Vacation?
5, 6.
I give the first one strong 6.5. I give that second one a 2. And then I give this third one a 10.
I don't know. I give it a 10. I give it a 9, 10. Yeah, I guess you could. There's just things in it that I felt were a little hokey, but yeah, it was still good. It was really good. It got people to cheer in the movie theater, so it got you in it.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not mad at it at all. And just a few weird little things here and there. I didn't understand how unless they designed the chip in Doc Ock to take that electrical surge, how he didn't become a bad guy again.
Right.
But maybe because when they redesigned it this time, when they were fixing things, they were able to fix that. I don't know. Listen, before we get off this, I just want to say, because of the acting, that I thought the original Goblin with who's the Goblin?
Willem Dafoe.
William Dafoe, who I think is an outstanding actor. He always plays some fucking great characters. I didn't think he got a chance to really act in the original one.
In the original with Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, like he was okay. I mean, there was some acting, but I mean, it wasn't like him at his best. I thought he got a chance to act this time.
Right.
I thought he really got a chance to play
he said he wasn't going to come back and do it if they just wanted him to do a cameo. He wanted some meat on the bones.
Yeah, and I thought he did a great job in that. I really like that character. Actually made more sense to me in this one. Doc Ock, he was always. I mean, I thought Doc Ock was good, but it seemed better in this one. Right. I like that he sucks up the nanotechnology, and they were able to do the great graphics. Jamie's character, even though, like you said, it was better, it still doesn't have it didn't have.
Is it that it's Jamie Foxx that's taking you out of it?
No, I don't think it's Jamie Foxx. They didn't give him very much.
Yeah, they didn't. But like I said, the way he looked as Electro in the Andrew Garfield one, I hated that shit. I like this look a lot better. But I got to be honest, Jamie Foxx is and he's a phenomenal actor. Again, Ray, my favorite shit ever. But seeing Jamie in this, I just saw Jamie.
Would you like to see giving him some kind of I mean, seriously.
They kind of tried to give him the classic comic book Electro star face.
Yeah.
But they didn't, they kind of emphasized it a little bit.
But don't you think if you gave him the opportunity to really get into a character and get rid of him, you would like him better?
Here's the same. You asked me this question before, and here's the same problem I have with him, as I said to you when you asked about Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, Leonardo is a bad guy. That's Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm going, that's Jamie Foxx. I don't think they're character actors like that. They're too big. Their personas are too big. Their faces are too recognizable.
So when and I'm gonna switch complete universes here. So in DC, when Jim Carrey was the Riddler,
yeah,
did you not like him as the Riddler?
I did, because that's what he does.
Because he does characters.
He does that.
Okay. Did you like? Yeah. Well, that you couldn't even tell that was Danny DeVito when he was doing the Penguin.
And to me, I listen, before that ever came out, I played in my head casting. I went, Danny DeVito is the fucking Penguin, just from a physical standpoint.
Yeah.
He's the fucking Penguin. I said, before they did Jim Carrey as the Riddler, you knew they were going to do it. They were going to eventually do a Batman and have the Riddler. I went, who other than Jim Carrey?
I would like to see them bring the Riddler back, by the way. I'd like to see a Batman.
Well, I think they're gonna do that.
Yeah,
they're doing that, right?
But who is it?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I would like to see Jim Carrey get another shot at doing it in a way that I really enjoyed Jim Carrey. I didn't think he was a great Riddler.
Because he was too Jim Carrey-ish?
Yeah, because they made him over the top again. They made him like the TV more the TV show.
Right.
So that's why.
I will say this, man. I know I'm not gonna go see it in the theaters. I'm gonna wait till I can download it. You know how much I hate this Robert Pattinson as Batman. And I even hate that I'm gonna say but, because it sounds like I'm making a chance to maybe like this motherfucker. But the preview, when that motherfucker goes, I am vengeance. And more importantly, that scene where he's walking through that tunnel as he's being shot with all them bullets, and they cut it where it's almost like a strobe light, where it's like flashes of him being shot, the bullets ricocheting, the sparks, and then he's whooping motherfuckers' asses in the tunnel. I went, all right. But again, for me, Affleck, nigga, I'm so mad that they didn't give Affleck a solo movie. When you go, yo, they didn't give Willem Dafoe enough in the first go-round. After what we saw Affleck doing, Batman, Superman, Justice League's Snyder's Cut, and even his little cameo in Suicide Squad, that man deserves his own Batman, man. Because Ben Affleck is the dude to me.
Yeah, but what if he comes? What if this whole series is better than any Batman you've seen? Will you go with it?
I'm not gonna deny truth, but you better be fucking good. Cause dude, I'm telling you, Robert Pattinson looks like an exotic parakeet, nigga. I hate his hair, the way it off to the side. It looks geeky, and he's just so frail looking. He just looks like a bird, nigga. Affleck with the jaw and the fucking aftershave and the grays and the bulky suit and the jaw, nigga. Oh, that's him.
If you could recast, if you could change someone's casting, who would you, out of all the DC, Marvel, which one was the most wrong?
For Batman?
And no, any you can pick any character you want.
I would say this. Robert Pattinson is wrong. And as much as I hated Val Kilmer, I'd rather Val Kilmer than this motherfucker, man.
You know what? I watched that one again the other day, and honestly, it's not the worst Batman. It's not the worst Batman. He's just as Val Kilmer, but he did a good job. When you watched it, I got out of that it's Val Kilmer, and then when he's Batman, I got out of it it's Val Kilmer. But then he's Val Kilmer when he's Bruce Wayne.
First of all, again, I'm strictly for detail. Bruce Wayne is not a blonde.
Yeah.
And Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne is a blonde. I'm immediately not invested.
But he as an actor, he did a great part. You just couldn't buy it because of what, like you just said, because you know who Bruce Wayne's supposed to be.
Right.
That's probably a miss. But I'd still say he did a good job.
And I know a lot of people, again, in their heads, they're going, Clooney was the worst Batman. No, he wasn't. He was in an awful movie.
He wasn't an awful movie.
But him as Bruce Wayne, same thing as Ben Affleck. He has that debonair, smooth leading man. You could believe he's a rich billionaire bachelor.
But who was his Robin?
Chris O'Donnell.
And I thought that was a terrible choice for.
I thought on paper it was a good choice. On paper. But ultimately, on screen, yeah. Yeah.
Anything else back to Spider-Man?
I can't wait for Venom and Spider-Man. I think that's going to be bigger than No Way Home and break all kind of records, because what they can do with that in terms, again, the technology, the special effects, and again, that Tom Hardy, you talk about, again, duality. Bruce Wayne, Batman, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Eddie Brock, Venom. I think Eddie Brock is just as important as that voice. And Tom Hardy plays Eddie Brock. And again, reference point, 10 times better than Topher Grace.
Well, what it is, though, too, is Tom Hardy he's just funny enough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He isn't trying to be funny. He's
Right.
just funny enough. If you're just a little bit funnier than that, I don't think that it works.
And he plays the awkward clumsiness, paranoia of it all well.
Yeah. And who's his chick in it in Venom? His girl.
Oh, I don't know her name.
I don't know her name either, but I think when I first saw it, I was like, who's this? She doesn't.
Right.
She's done a really good job because she has to actually play. She actually becomes Venom for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
She's done a good job.
Right.
She and I'm at first I was like, why didn't they have someone I would know who would? She's done a really good job.
Yeah, no,
it's a really good series,
dude. That's why I'm excited about it. When I saw him at the bar, I was like, oh shit, it's finally time. And to see Tom Holland with his acting ability and with that Spider-Man go up against Hardy and that personality, it's gonna be explosive. This is gonna be a heavyweight fight. That movie's gonna kill, man. I can't wait.
but now if no one remembers who Spider-Man is, the Peter Parker's Spider-Man, how does
Ned and MJ fit into that?
well, and then how does he so but we all know that Spider-Man exists, right? We just don't know who Peter
He
Parker.
is. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, the world. Yeah, he's back to being who's that guy. Nobody
okay.
knows who he is.
He's just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Right.
All right.
Well, there it is, folks. Shit, we didn't have time to get into. Maybe save that for another time. Just to prepare you, if you guys haven't seen it, go on HBO Max. It's a documentary called Action Park. For those of you from the Jersey area, this was back in the 80s when this was the only one and basically the hottest, most dangerous death trap for water parks. It is a great documentary. I don't know if it'll mean more to you if you're from the Jersey area and you grew up in the 80s from that side of town, but it was very nostalgic for me. I never went, but I certainly remember it.
I loved it. Obviously was not in Jersey at that time.
Right.
Loved it. And then everyone I knew from Jersey,
Yeah.
I called them and asked them, hey, have you ever been there? And
Right.
just to hear what their stories were.
Right.
So, yeah, man, it's so 80s and it's so about the way how you could do anything. There were no rules.
Listen,
man.
one of my first notes when we get into it, because I watched it again just to refamiliarize myself. I went, nigga, for kids in the 80s, Action Park was the Studio 54 of water parks. It was an event. It was a moment in time.
Yeah.
It took off like a rocket ship, and just as fast as it took off, that shit was shut down.
It's funny, but if you even think about all the toys that we had back in the 80s,
Right.
you don't get away with any of those toys anymore.
No, but technology has taken over such that really your phone is your toy.
Yeah. But even that, I mean, I don't know. I'm a little older than you. So my Tonka trucks, did you have a Tonka truck when you were a kid?
No, I didn't. I didn't have those dangerous sharp edges to play with.
I had those metal Tonka, the ones that if someone threw it at you, it'd split your head wide open.
Right. Or if you fell on something,
Yeah.
if you slipped and you fell on one of the motherfuckers, you might break a bone.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be a fun episode to talk to you about because you were in Jersey. We should probably if you know what, before we get into this, before we actually do it, if you have been to Action Park in Jersey, send us an email.
Here, Vernon, New Jersey.
Yeah, send us an email about your experience at Action Park. I mean, if you had an experience, if you went to Action Park and everything was great, you didn't know anything about it, keep that email. Keep that memory for yourself. But if you went there and you saw some shit, send it in because we'll include that while we're talking about it.
All right. Any announcements you want to
Yeah,
make?
just where we're going to be. Guys, the new year. And it's providing that all these dates hold up because who knows what's going to happen next week. Hopefully everything keeps going and we can get the COVID back down. We are going to be when you're listening to this, the following day, we'll be in Helium on the 6th of January in St. Louis. Helium, St. Louis, the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then after that, we're looking forward to being at Milwaukee Improv for the very first time. My buddy Keith,
Yeah.
someone I met through the podcast that we talk email back and forth. Sent me a bunch of notes on where we're going to go eat and what we should be doing.
Oh, really?
Here. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Milwaukee. And that is the 13th through the 16th. And then the following week, the 21st to the 23rd, we're going to be in Ohio, ladies and gentlemen. If the Ohios, I've been getting a lot of requests where we're going to be in Ohio. We'll be back at Cleveland, Ohio. And Aries, can I get you anything? You okay?
No. Do you need anything, Aries? Or you?
That's an inside joke. The 28th through the 29th of January, Aries will be at the Denver Improv. And I will be back at Helium doing the garage for 2 nights, working out my hour for the recording. So if you're in St. Louis and want to see a show, hit me up and I can make sure I get you some tickets.
All right. This is from Gold Street Films. Name Dane, Dayne, 1400. Instagram at Dayne 1400. Twitter at Dayne.1400. I don't know what the name of this is, but it's something mix. So with that being said, enjoy.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this shit, well, it was hosted by Aries Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Klein-Schmidt for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit www.spearsburgpod.com.